Welcome to Miracle Morning Mastermind. Coach Fard Bell here, and just super excited to be alive, super excited and grateful to have the opportunity to grow together, to have the opportunity to just go after our goals and dreams. It's a huge blessing to be able to focus on our goals and dreams. Not everybody has the luxury of being able to wake up and think about their dreams and goals without being bombarded by life events far more severe than what we are experiencing. And so I'm super grateful this morning. And we've been talking about BornCEO Mountain behind me. If you're just joining us for the first time, I'm Coach Fard Bell, founder of BornCEO Leadership Academy and the Born CEO movement, and the best-selling author of the book Born to Rule: 7 Steps to Claiming Your Freedom and Living Your Purpose. And this is a VIP group that I meet with who are serious about just becoming the leaders they were born to be, doing what they were born to do, and overcoming every obstacle along the way. And that's why we utilize this metaphor called BornCEO Mountain behind me to symbolize the journey, life's journey, as we discover our purpose, as we tap into the next level of our true potential, as we and I'll tell you the 7 trail markers behind me on Purpose Trail. The first P stands for, where is it? Right over there to my whatever. I don't know which way you're looking. It's a mirror, but you see it next to BornCEO Mountain. The first P is pursue your divine assignment. And so these are the 7 trail markers, 7 of the lessons that we teach along BornCEO Mountain, and the lessons that we learn as we climb BornCEO Mountain together. That P stands for pursue your divine assignment, and it's very important. Most of you are entrepreneurs or building a business, and there's something powerful about putting your purpose in front of your business and drawing from the passion of your purpose, beginning with the end in mind, as Stephen Covey would say, and knowing where you want to end up, and that your business is a part of your plan to fulfill your purpose. I'm going to say that again. It's a powerful thing when your business is a part of the plan to pursue your purpose. And sometimes if we're not careful, we will start to move as if our career or our business is our purpose, and then neglect our ultimate purpose in the process. And then we look back on life and go, man, I put a lot into my business. I put a lot into my career, but I didn't do much towards my purpose. And so we reverse that here in the BornCEO movement. We put purpose before business. And what I found is that the more I put purpose before business, the more passion I bring to my business, the more focus I bring to my business. It gives me a stronger reason why to grow my business. And it gives me more influence with people who can help support me in my business and my endeavors as well. So we put purpose before business. That's one of the many things that we learn at that first trail marker. And at different parts of your journey, you'll find yourself revisiting different trail markers based on what you need in your journey. The U stands for unveiling wisdom, unveil wisdom and understanding. This is where we learn of the success secrets in life, the success principles. There are principles we were born to learn. And when we discover those principles and we practice those principles, we start to accelerate in life. One of my mentors, the great late Paul J. Meyer, billionaire philanthropist, taught us a concept called the wheel of life. And it's drawing a wheel, and it has 6 spokes on it. One of them is family and home. One of them is financial career. One of them is health and fitness. One of them is social and cultural. One of them is, spiritual and ethical. And then the other one will come to me later. But you can look up the Wheel of Life. I'm going to do a Facebook post on it. So if you're not following me on Facebook yet, follow me on Facebook, Coach Fard, with no space between the two. and you'll have my right account. I have more than one, but Coach Fard, my personal account with no space between the two. I'm going to be putting out more content around Purpose Trail, and it's going to be powerful. On my personal Facebook page. So anyway, or you can go to facebook.com/FardBell, and that'll take you to my personal Facebook page. Hit follow on that, and be really ready to share some of the content because it's going to be life changing. So I'll post about the Wheel of Life on there, and there are different principles to be successful in each of those areas of our lives. Um, and then we have, oh, the other one is cultural. Cultural is the sixth spoke on the wheel. All right, so the R stands for run your own business. And that's almost everybody born CEOs. If you're not already running your own business, you'll be inspired to, you'll be encouraged to, you'll feel empowered to. And it's important because at some point we've got to stop being dependent on other people for our livelihood. At some point we've got to overcome our fears of entrepreneurship or fears of sales or fear of rejection or fear. Notice it's all fear-based. It's all fear-based. And we've got to tap into that childlike faith that we once had, that childlike faith, that childlike imagination that says nothing is impossible. If I can see it, I can seize it. Napoleon Hill said it well, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so it's important to overcome whatever's keeping us from being able to run our own business. Like, we were born to rule. We are born CEOs. We have what it takes. And it doesn't mean you got to go about running a business the way you've seen others not succeed. You know, there's way more than one way. You don't have to go borrow millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a successful business. You don't have to quit your job and put your family's consistent income at risk. No, you don't have to do any of that. You can carve out a few hours a week, start a part-time business, and practice becoming a business owner so that you're in a position where nobody has control over you. You're in a position where you're not dependent on somebody else to provide, and and even if you have a daytime job, you're not dependent on it. You got your own skills. You got your own confidence back. You can be your own boss. So that's some of the things we learn in the R. We also learn that there's a recipe for success when it comes to running your own business. Whether it's a traditional business, there's a recipe. Whether it's a network marketing business, there's a proven recipe. Whether you're an influencer building an income around your personal brand or your message, there's a recipe for that. And if you're building a nonprofit, there's a recipe for that to be sustainable. And we've got the recipe. You can find that recipe at BornCEO.com/freedom business. Freedom business, all lowercase. If somebody wants to put that in the chat, BornCEO.com/freedom business. And I always put the HTTP in front and Zoom, so it's a clickable link. So anyway, those are some of the things we learned along Purpose Trail. The next P is to purchase back your time. And when we talk about purchasing back your time, how do you purchase back your time? Well, that means you sold it to begin with. So if you were taught, like I was taught, to sell your time to a job or sell your time to the marketplace as a self-employed person, but you want to own your time again, you want time freedom, you've got to build some type of residual income, leveraged income, passive income. Robert Kiyosaki wrote about it in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Allen wrote about it in the book, Multiple Streams of Income. Myron Golden teaches it. Everybody who's had freedom, it's in the Bible. You know, Ecclesiastes talks about having multiple streams, 7 different streams of income as well. But when we're talking about, it's not just another job. We're not talking about 7 jobs or 7 businesses. You know, we're talking about having a solid stream. And we're not talking about multiple drizzles of income, right? A drizzle, you can't really pay your bills with that. But multiple streams of income, means you might have built one solid stream of income first, like a real bill paying stream of residual income. And you build it until it's on autopilot. It's on autopilot because you've either got the right systems in place, you've got the right team in place, you got the right leaders in place to manage and multiply it with or without you. Now it's residual, passive, leveraged income. That means you have money coming in when you're not working. And here's a test. You don't have to answer this in the chat, but the question is, how much do you earn when you're not working? How much money comes in every month when you're not working? And the goal is to get that number to be bigger than our bills. And when that number is bigger than our bills, we're out of the rat race. Kiyosaki even made a board game for it called Cash Flow 101. I highly recommend that game. There's another game that came out after Cash Flow 101 that takes it to another level. Super fun to play and super educational. A fast way to build your financial intelligence with your family. It's called Millionaire Maker. Millionaire Maker. As well. You can find both of those on Amazon. And so anyway, or wherever you shop. So Purchase Back Your Time is about really claiming your freedom, your time freedom. And I have a video on the front page of BornCEO.com. Watch that video on the front page called The ABCs of Financial Freedom, which is just a condensed study of, I've studied a lot of successful people, and I've narrowed down the principles into ABC 1, 2, 3, like I always do here with BornCEO. Okay, so the O stands for outstretch your influence, because when good people gain influence, the world becomes a better place. The S stands for sustain growth and transformation. That's just about continuously breaking through. I saw somebody put in the chat that you had questions about the S. That's all it is. At different phases in your journey, as you climb BornCEO Mountain, as you journey through life, sometimes it'll feel like you hit a brick wall. Sometimes it'll feel like you get stuck. So how do you break through to the next level and continue to sustain that growth and transformation? Sometimes we feel like we've plateaued, where all of a sudden we're no longer moving forward and tapping into new potential. We're just kind of existing based on our previous accomplishments. So that S in sustained growth and transformation is about breaking through, becoming hashtag brand new again, and breaking through to the next level of growth, breaking through those brick walls, instead of turning back and going back down the hill, back down the mountain, instead of giving up on the dream or just staying there, wandering through life like the children of Israel. What do we do to break through our old mindsets and transform into the next levels of success? And then the E at the top of BornCEO Mountain stands for ensure eternal impact. Don't we all want a life where we can look back on our lives and go, man, life, what I've done with my life, what God has done through my life outlives me. It outlives me in a very positive way. And that impact continues to echo throughout eternity. I know me, I want to have an eternal impact. Even when I'm no longer here, I want to know that the life that I lived continues to transform the world in a positive way because of the role that I played. I played my part in this world, and I know you do too, as a BornCEO. And those are some of the things that we talk about and learn at the top of BornCEO Mountain. Now, the cool thing is, once you get to the top of BornCEO Mountain, on the other side is where you descend back into the world. And as a new creation, as the new you, as the newest version of you, and you go and make a positive impact on the domain that you were born to influence. All the different domains, whether it's the family domain, whether it's the business domain, whether it's the education domain, whether it's the government domain, whether it's the arts and entertainment domain, whether it's the media domain, whether it's the faith domain, you are making an impact on the rest of the world as you have refined your gifts and who you were born to be. So let's hear from you all. Which I know most of you are in business and you're applying these principles to building your running your own business, which is trail marker number 3, and productivity, focus is a big part of where everybody's at. Y'all can see I'm fully dressed this morning. I used to take you all with me on my prayer walk, but I moved my prayer walk back to 4:30 in the morning. So y'all are welcome to join me if you want to. But now I'm doing it early so that I can come back, finish my exercise routine, eat something healthy to start my day off and get my metabolism started, and boom, get showered, get dressed so that I'm already ready to conquer the day after I get off of here with you all. I'm heading off to a networking event to fill my pipeline with referrals. And so, what are you taking away right now? What are you focused on the most right now in terms of taking it to the next level of success? This is the beginning of March, but it's the end of the first quarter. The end of this month will be the end of the first quarter. So one of the big things on my mind is making sure that today matters, as John C. Maxwell wrote in one of his books. Today matters, meaning yesterday is over. Tomorrow is not here. My only job today, I can relieve myself of yesterday's burdens, or I can relieve myself of tomorrow's burdens. And my only job today is to maximize today. And so let's take a deep breath on that one. Just today. And guess what? Later today isn't even here yet. So my only focus right now is not even later today. My focus is, what is the best use of my time in this first part of today? This first couple hours, what do I want to accomplish in that first couple hours of the day that's going to set everything else in motion? If all I did was these few simple things today and repeated that, what can I do today that if I repeated that every day would automatically put me on track to achieve my goal? What are the simple things? And sometimes we think about all the complicated things or things that we don't feel like we can do, but what we can do is enough. So anyway, I'm just setting the tone for the conversation. Feel free to jump in, either with some new clarity you got, some new activity that you're doing, new results, or a question that you'd like to ask for us to discuss today.
Well, it's not really a question, but I want to say first off, Rachel Kramer from Las Vegas, Nevada. I am the born CEO of Rachel Kramer Incorporated. And now, so as far as the sustaining growth and transformation is to never give up, don't hang out there, but always review to gain momentum and to keep moving forward and upward. So what I need to do today, or what I will be doing today, is more activity that's going to give me the which one is it? That's going to ensure me to be able to stay in business and to support my goals and what I have planned for that I quit. Well, I didn't quit the job. Well, I kind of did quit the job, but pandemic came and they asked me to go home and work from home, and I went, let me think about that for a split second. If I'm going to go home and work, I'm going to put myself on the front burner and put you on the back burner. Yeah, so that's when I started doing my
Building your
business
business.
full time from home. It's been a journey, even though I knew what I was doing. But I mean, we know what we're doing, but then we have to put it all into action. And so the activity is what I'm going to be doing today, and I'm excited to see the results that's going to come from that. Thank you
Love
for
it.
allowing me to
Love it.
share.
Absolutely. Everybody put up some hearts for Miss Rachel Kramer. And that's good. A great takeaway from this morning. And I'm going to show you all something to take a screenshot of in a second. Who's next?
Good morning, this is Mehdi from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a born CEO of Mehdi Military and Incorporated. Today, I made a huge commitment to focus 95% of my job, my work on invite, present, and three-way call for this week from today until middle of the month. Because I have enough people in my pipeline, I'm just want to minimum 85 to 90% focus on that and put 15% on the new prospecting. Thank you for allowing me to share. God bless you. Thank you.
Oh, you awesome, my friend. So in your business, you're focusing on filling up that pipeline with and just focus on the activity that you know is going to keep and not just fill your pipeline. What I heard you say is you already have a lot of people in your pipeline, and so instead of you just focusing on adding new people only, you're focusing a little bit on adding new people, but you're focusing a lot on moving people through the pipeline who are already in that pipeline. And that's
Exactly.
powerful when you start to realize what you already have and to shift your focus accordingly. And when it comes to the pipeline, one of those questions is, do I have enough prospects in my pipeline already in order to achieve the goal for the month, for example? And if the answer is yes, then you move on to the next part of the PIPES acronym, PIPES, which is inviting. All right, am I inviting enough of them? Have I invited enough of them to look at my presentation or to look at whatever I have to offer? Whether you're in a traditional business, you got some kind of a presentation about what you offer. If you're in a network marketing business, you got a presentation about what you offer. If you're in a nonprofit, you got a presentation about your mission and what you offer to those who might want to donate or those who might want to volunteer. If you're an influencer, you have a presentation about the message that you're sharing, or if you have a product or service that you're promoting. So, are you inviting enough people to see that presentation becomes the question. And let me see if it'll let me share the screen. But that's powerful to be aware of where your pipeline is. One of my wealth mentors, I was on a call with him the other day, and he said sometimes people are so focused on adding so many new people in their pipeline, they don't need to be adding that many new people every day. And he was saying in the network marketing business, he wrote the book Building an Empire, Brian Carruthers. He said, if you are really doing your two every day, and then you got so many people you've done two a day with that you need to follow up with, then you'll realize that two a day is enough to achieve your goals if you're properly following up with all the two a days that you've already done. So a lot of times people are rushing to do more than two a day, but what they really need to do is continue to do the two a day but become relentless in the follow-up of all those people who are already in the pipeline. And that's what Mehdi's talking about right now as well. So put up some hearts for Mehdi. That's a huge takeaway for a lot of people. Some have so many people in your pipeline already. All you have to do is become more relentless in your follow-up while continuing to add just 2 to 5 people a day to that pipeline. And here's what that pipeline looks like. If you want to take a quick photo again, prospecting. Do I have enough people at the top of my funnel? For some people, the answer is yes, because you've been filling up that pipeline. Am I inviting enough of them? P, am I getting enough of them in front of the presentation, or rescheduling the ones who didn't make it to the last presentation, quickly getting them rescheduled for something? And E is the enrolling process, which includes following up, being pleasantly persistent as well, and realizing that it's normal for a person to give you 5 different sets of objections before they're ready. It's normal for a person to seem like they're rejecting the idea 5 times before they accept the idea. I'm framing this differently than you may have heard it before. You've heard this before 5 to 7 times, but I want to give you a different perspective. If you bring me an idea that I never heard before, it's going to take some phases for my mind to accept the idea as a good idea for me, or as a good idea for me now. So that in those phases, let's say I have 5 to 7 different unanswered questions. Unanswered questions. You might think of it as rejection. You might think of it as objections, but they're really unanswered questions that I haven't resolved within myself first. And as soon as I get those 5 questions resolved and the right timing, I'm going to be ready to accept the idea. So if you only reach out to me the first time and you only handle one of my concerns, you never answered the other 5, the other 4. And you stopped. You assumed I wasn't interested. You assumed that when I said no, that meant no forever, instead of you translating it to say, oh, he still has some unanswered objections that I haven't covered yet, unanswered questions or concerns. And if you realize that there's 5 different ones, and not all 5 can be handled at the same time. This is a good mindset for follow-up. Not all 5 can be handled at the same time. You might answer all 5 in the same sitting, but I'm only processing one of them at a time. So the other 4, we're going to have to talk 4 different times before I'm ready. And if you can just get that into your mind now and stop quitting 3 feet before gold, then you'll go, oh, and keep track in your journal. If you're using a follow-up journal or whatever follow-up system you're using, keep track. Okay, what 1 interaction, 2 interactions, 3 interactions, and after each interaction, you want to be listening for what's the one biggest concern that he has right now that I can help him make peace with. And then the next time we interact, what's the next biggest concern I can help him make peace with, while keeping the relationship pleasant. While keeping the relationship pleasant. Check on my family, find out one of the concerns. Just catch up as a friend, find out one of the concerns. And you got to know that by the time we've had about 5 interactions and you've handled my 5 biggest concerns, by that time, I'm going to be more ready to accept that idea. Like, you know what? That is a good idea. I might have thought it was a good idea the first time, but I wasn't ready to move on it the first time. So if you haven't had those 5 different interactions with me yet, and you haven't found my 5 biggest concerns yet, and you haven't helped me resolve those 5 biggest concerns while while remaining likable, while remaining a likable person. Like, you're not making me feel pressured or feel bad, like, or like you're only talking business every single time we call or talk, you know. But if you can find that balance of keeping the relationship strong, not just a transaction, but also finding out my number one concern, one at a time, I'm telling you, you're gonna outpace so many people, because it's like you're keeping a checklist or a mental checklist. Okay, have we had those 5 different interactions around it? Have I handled the 5 biggest concerns around it? And I'm just giving you all another way to look at getting past those 5 to 7 exposures, 5 to 7 interactions, because that's where most of the decisions get made on anything. This could be even like a relationship. Like, you barely know me. If I propose to you, we just met. Hey, you want to get married? No. Can I get to know you first? Can we let's have a conversation, right? Let's go have coffee or something. Let's get to know, like, and trust each other and see if it even fits. This applies to everything. It's just accepting a new idea. It takes spaced repetition over time. Any final comments or questions before we go?
I think that's a great thing to break down, is the follow-up process and the number of interactions to define those 5 to 7 breakdown concerns, family, fun, spiritual, towards the decision. I think that's like, you break down the pipes, you break down the purpose, to break down the follow-up. And that might be a conversation that we might want to have, because I think that's really super important, because we do have a tendency just to keep puking out all of our business, and we not breaking it down into these different interactions that can be totally different. But you need to do the FORM, you need to do the, with all these follow-ups. You may not get through the form on on the first call. You might not get through the why, and then get to their heart of what they want to do, what they want out of life. And when you start, like they always say, you don't become, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Back to you.
So good. So good. And for those that don't know that acronym for form, forming a relationship: family, getting to know about each other's family, getting to know about each other's occupational journey, getting to know about each other's relations, recreational interests, and getting to know each other's motivation. FORM, form a relationship. And then if I were to break down the follow-up, okay, what do I cover in those 5 to 7 interactions? Well, the first tip I would give you is to pay attention to the questions and concerns that you keep hearing from every single person. Like, if you just pay attention and everybody write down the ones you're going to hear, you're going to see that it's the same list over and over again. And that's where you become a professional, instead of just rushing to try to get somebody to make a decision prematurely before they're ready, even if it is a solution to their problem, even if it is a solution to their desire or their pain point. We've got to let people go through the process. And it doesn't have to take forever. But you already know, if you're selling something or offering something, one of the concerns is going to be, do I have the money? Am I willing to invest the money? That might be 1 or 2 different aspects of that you'll address in these follow-ups, making sure that they got that concern addressed, which requires you to ask some questions and listen, I love it. As an introvert, I love it, because introverts, it's more natural for us to respond to a person than it is for us to initiate communication. So I love that once I learned it, I could just ask questions and let people talk. Whoa, I love it. And if you do that, you'll start to hear and pay attention to what their actual concern is. What is their actual concern? And if I don't have an answer for that concern right away, no problem. I'm going to go do some research and come back with an answer to that concern. So I might say something like, okay, if I could help you resolve that concern, would you be ready to move forward? Well, yeah, probably. Awesome. And then I resolve that concern, and then they go, yeah, but I have this other concern. Okay, if I could help you resolve that concern, would you be ready to move forward? Possibly. I'm going to do that 5 to 7 times until they run out of concerns. Take on, this is the BornCEO mindset for follow-up. Be ready to identify all of their 5 to 7 concerns or more, and be ready to handle them one at a time until they run out of concerns. And once they run out of concerns, it's time to move forward. That's the best way I've heard it put. And so, what are some of those concerns? The money, the time, and the big one, belief. Now, that could give you several different beliefs. Do I believe that it works? Do I believe that this will actually solve my problem or my desire? That's one belief that would be a concern. And it should be a concern, right? So expect it and don't be surprised by it. Like, anticipate it and be ready. So I might hear somebody say something like, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready. And I might go, is your concern um, about whether it works or not? Might that be one of your concerns? And they might go, yeah, I'm not so sure if it actually works. Well, that means, okay, what can I show them that would help them believe that this is an actual solution? So it's not a combative thing. Like, it's just a dance. It's a communication. And they're actually telling you what their concern is. So now, instead of being a salesperson, be a consultant. As Brian Tracy teaches in the book, an audio book called The Psychology of Selling. Be more of a consultant than a salesperson. You're not a salesperson across from this person trying to win a battle. You're a consultant sitting next to the person, looking at this problem together to figure out what we can do to help solve this person's desire that they want to move towards, or the pain point that they want to move away from. And as a consultant, now you become a trusted advisor. You're not just trying to sell them on something. You're trying to truly understand what their real desire is first, and helping them figure out what their real desire is, because they may not know it on the surface, and or what their pain point is that they want to move away from, and how and what options there are that you may have access to help them achieve it. And then once you do that, what are the concerns that they have along the way? They're going to run out of concerns at some point. So one of those concerns is, will this actually solve the problem? Maybe they need to see some testimonials, or hear some testimonials, or some examples of how it's worked for other people. Maybe they're concerned after that, oh, wow, I definitely see that it works for other people, but I don't know if it'll work for somebody like me. And then you go, okay, and you figure out, as a consultant, what can I do to help them see that this could work for them? Not just anybody, but this person specifically. Okay, and then you satisfy that concern, and they're like, oh, wow, I can see that now. And then they might go, I can see that I could do it, but I've got these external constraints, these certain circumstances in my life. So you want to listen for, what are some of the circumstances in their life that they may think would hinder them from succeeding, even though they know it's possible. And then once you handle those concerns, I'm telling you, if you're talking to me, I'm starting to run out of concerns. And if you did a good job on the front end of understanding my true desire and pulling it out of me, and my true pain points that I want to move away from, and then you presented me with some emotional and logical, you've shown me emotionally and then logically how it could solve my problem. And then you help me figure out that, help me replace the limiting belief that it doesn't work. Write these down. It doesn't work. You help me replace that with, wow, it does work for a lot of people. Number two, that it probably won't work for me. Write that down. These are normal. These are normal ones that you can always count on being a concern for most people. I don't think this will work. I don't believe this will work for me. So your presentation is supposed to help me get over that and replace that if it's true that it can work for me. Did you show me that effectively? And number three, can it work for me in spite of my present circumstances? And once you can help me solve those big three beliefs, oh, I'm telling you, now you got your 5 to 7 different conversations mapped out and you're prepared. And then you're going to be listening along the way for anything else that might keep me from making a positive decision. And watch this. When you bring it to a close and you lead me to make a decision, are you hurting me or helping me by leading me to a decision at that point? You've done an excellent job at serving me by figuring out what my true desire and problem is I want to solve. You presented me a solution to my problem. That's service. You helped me get past all my limiting beliefs that are keeping me from making that decision. Did you do something to me or did you do something for me? Is this just benefiting you or is this mutually beneficial? So I want you to go from thinking about sales to focusing on serving effectively the Born CEO way that I just described. Any final questions or comments, Miss Glover?
This was just captivating me, and I'm sure I heard it before, but tomorrow, can we talk more about it? I know it's time to go now. I have to go. Okay, when you first got started, I had a question back there. I forgot what it is.
Did you write it down?
I started writing at this point, but you were really okay. There are unanswered questions and concerns. We need to talk to them 4 or 5 different times for them to process what we're not selling, but what we're offering to them, right?
Well,
but before when you first got started with that, it's something you said. Oh my God, it's right there. And then you talked about so they can make peace with what I'm telling them. But before that, you said something. What? Okay, do you mean, is this at the beginning when you first meet them? What am I telling them when I first meet them? What do you mean by that?
So I'm talking about from the point that you identify a person's desire and or pain point.
Yeah, I'm just like, I have a deficit along this line right here.
Get a person, get a real scenario in your mind of somebody you found out their desire and their pain point and realize that you have a solution for them.
Okay, I can get to that part. I know what that part means. But see, when I talk to people, when I don't ever go this far, I realize that is one of the things in my pipeline. That's a leak I have, because when I meet people and I give them my card and I get their name and number, I'm telling you, I get stuck. I have a lot of people that I met and I gave them my card and I got their number, never got any further. And I really think that it's something I'm leaving out, perhaps. I'm still stuck over there making a rapport with them, creating a reason for them. Yeah. So, but we'll talk about it another time.
So, sure. Yeah, we could talk deeper. Just remember, desire is the starting point of all achievement. So if you're not talking to me about my desire or my pain point, you don't have my attention.
Wow.
So that's the anchor for you, is to remember that. Now, once you have my attention, you want to build some rapport and get to it. This doesn't have to be a long process. Like, show me, if you got a solution to my desire, my problem, present it to me. Schedule an appointment to present it to me based on what I want. And everything we just talked about is a part of the presentation, not the invitation. The invitation is very simple. This is what you want, da, 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 da. This is what you desire. This is your pain point. Let's schedule a time to meet, or let's schedule a time for a Zoom, or let's schedule a time for you to look at some information. Invitation is very easy, very quick. It's just the advertisement for the presentation. It is not the presentation itself. Everything that we've spoken about is about the presentation and the enrollment process. So first of all, a well-prepared presentation will incorporate all the things we talked about this morning. So this is how you want to think about a presentation from now on. A presentation shows the prospect that their desire or pain point can be solved here, that there's a solution. And then it handles all those concerns that they would have that would keep them from taking advantage of the solution. That's my short definition of an effective presentation.
Thank you.
And I'll put this up on YouTube for the replay because it's so powerful. But I'm going to say that again. All the presentation is it's designed to present that I understand your desire, or your pain point. I have a solution. It will work for you, and this presentation will handle all of your concerns that would keep you from taking a positive step in that direction. And then the follow-up is, if their concern didn't get handled during the presentation, they're getting handled in the follow-up process in a pleasant way. That's it. And once they run out of concerns, the only logical step to take is to make a decision in that direction. And as a professional, you're not going to stop until they do. And that you're also not waiting for that person. You're just scheduling a time to get back to them while you go back to your pipeline. And then during that scheduled time, you're going to follow back up. You're keeping good notes on the process. And then this is just an ongoing conversation until they make a decision. And you keep the relationship afterwards. So those are some tips on follow-up this morning. Practice. Go practice, everybody. And then come back with your insights, your breakthroughs, and your questions. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.